I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bow your heads for a moment, please. Dear Lord, thank you for coal-fired heat. Thank you for watching over our people in our community. Thank you for sunshine. Please watch over the actions of this group as we truly do try to do our best. In your name we pray. Amen. Reading and approval of minutes, please.
Motion approved.
Okay, motion by Hack to approve the minutes from February 3rd.
Second.
Second by Folkers. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Approval of the agenda.
Motion approved as presented.
Okay, motion by Weidrich.
Second.
Second by Folkers. Discussion. All in favor of approving this agenda say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Engineers report. Monty said they only have one bid of the concrete stuff, Monty, is that right?
That's correct. So they are gonna reach out a couple more times and have something for us hopefully by the March 3rd meeting. Don't think we'll be doing concrete for a little bit anyway.
Okay.
Who's the one private business left, Monty, on Alley?
What's that?
Who's the one private business left? Do you know at all, or?
Yeah,
Obviously.
it's that section back behind, is it the dash? I wanna say it's the dash, it was just that little bit that they
I'm
had.
assuming when the weather was,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is for
Either the dash or
Application
Jesse's.
for public works, Christmas application.
Okay, moving down to reports, water sewer.
I don't know if Dave wants to update you on the water situation.
Got a water
Yeah.
break on the west side of the Catholic church in the street there. We worked on it on Sunday. They worked on it again on Monday and again today, and we haven't found it. The frost is probably 3.5 feet or better, or whatever. It's coming up through the grass under the snow where the water's coming up, but got some more concrete and open up another hole and see if we can't find a corporation or someplace where it's coming from. But it's just a hit and miss. It's just, with this so much frost, it's just gonna find its easiest path, who knows where it's really leaking. So we'll keep everybody informed on what's going on with it when they get closer, or till we find more.
What a brutal time to work on this water break.
What does that process look like, trying to track down a leak like that?
What's that?
What does the process look like to track down a leak?
Well, first it was coming up in their yard, it was coming out almost like beside their house or whatever. Well, the first thing is to close the curb stop, thinking it's a service line. Well, when Jared and I finally got the ice off the curb stop and pulled that little cap, the water come shooting out about that high, thinking, got the wrench on it, and it didn't stop the water flow, so we figured it was broke right down at the base. That's where you'd start, I mean, when you got water coming out. So we got through a driveway and they got through the frost and got down there, and them connections all look good.
Is that Johnson's driveway?
Yeah. So started working out from there out into the street, trying to think, well, maybe it's by the court.
Could you see at the curb stop which way the water was coming from?
It's all dry, it's why it's all dry and coming up that standpipe, haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
And where it's, and coming up the yard or whatever, it's we haven't really hit any wet dirt other than kind of up in her yard.
Nothing in the house.
No, I was about ready to run in her garage or whatever, nothing in the house or anything like that, but. I know Monty and I looked on an old city map or whatever, there used to be a trailer house in there along with the house that was moved out when she built her new garage or house or whatever. Still thinking it's probably an old abandoned curb stop or something from that, it's hard to say, but.
Coming from underneath that garage.
Just-
So it's coming out in between, the water's coming out between her new place and her old place?
Yeah, there's water there, and it's coming up between her driveway and her foundation of her house, I mean,
That's
it's
not good.
dirt washing down the driveway, I mean, it's just where it's tracking or coming from, it's hard to say.
And you're not finding wet dirt though?
Not yet.
That's what confuses me. If you got
In the
wa-
yard, if you dig, I mean, you're wet there or whatever, but you're trying to track where it's coming from, and they're just having a hard time finding it.
And then getting through the frost.
And tearing up all her concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
it's.
got a nice garage.
You got a
It's
lot of
slow going, trying to
concrete.
get through that frost, it's all the 3 feet or better, the frost, it's. They worked quite a bit today on it and stuff, and that's just slow digging.
So they'll be back tomorrow
I'll
at
be
it?
back again tomorrow, yeah, we're storing their equipment in the shop, so it starts and
That's,
stuff.
I was just gonna ask you that, are they hauling it
Yeah,
back
we're
and forth?
shuffling
or
our
are they
stuff
got-
around so they can get their asphalt cover and a lot of their stuff inside, so.
Okay. Yeah, that's not fun. Well, it's not like somebody's first go after this thing.
Yeah, and that's, wintertime, some of them are hard to find, like I say, with the frost like that, it's, I haven't heard about Bismarck's going, they got one today developed down in Bismarck, so, Minot,
Mine had a bad one.
Yeah.
Minot and Devil's Lake or whatever, and all Bismarck. Ours is small compared to those or
Yeah,
whatever, but.
yeah.
I
Other-
just
yeah.
hate to say it, but we don't have enough insulation underground. I'm not wishing that by all means, but,
Snow does make a good insulator.
I know.
Streets, cemetery.
No, other than that,
That's about the only exciting thing or whatever. Garbage truck's
Yeah.
working good, all the blades, everything is ready to go.
Okay.
We'll probably do some scraping first part of next week or into this, well, it's gonna be garbage with the cold weather the rest of this week, but.
probably depending on how
If it's
warm.
nice next week, we'll keep working on intersections and storm drains and stuff thaws, trying to get this stuff to run, eliminate our ice or whatever,
Yeah, it's
and
pretty
keep doing
tough.
some scrapings.
And tomorrow for garbage, you still following the truck with a
Yep.
pickup and
Yep.
getting the guys inside?
Yeah, we started late today and they still just
Yeah.
about got the route done or whatever, but yeah, with the chase vehicle and stuff. We started about 9:30, quarter to 10. Once the sun gets up pretty high, it isn't too awful bad, but
Yeah.
it's cold.
That sun's got some power
It's
to
only
it.
30 below.
Yeah, not too bad, it's only -30 with.
With the
wind
chase
blowing
vehicle,
wind
it's
on the side of the road, so-
Luckily it's not windy, yeah. We appreciate their efforts and that's such a thankless job.
That's all I have.
Okay. Finance, busing.
I don't have anything, do you, Monty?
Nope.
I have nothing at this time.
Weaver?
That's run reports for the, fire department for the little bit of January and February with a chicken coop fire north of Hazen. That was pretty much gone by the time we got out there. There's a motor vehicle accident south on 49. There's a lift assist, in Hazen here, and another motor vehicle accident on 6th Street in Hazen. That's all it says, I don't remember that one.
On 6th Street.
So it says, 6th Street Northwest.
Hmm.
I don't remember that one.
I'm trying to think back.
That was on February 8th. And we do have this quote for the radio for the new rig, and I asked Tony to get a quote for a dual band radio, so so it could run off of the system we're currently using and the new system whenever the state decides to launch that. It came back extremely high. The ones we got for the last radio, granted that was 3 years ago already, they were, I wanna say roughly $1,800.
Yeah, less than two,
It's less than 2,000, I don't remember, so there's a substantial difference. Now, I don't know if the radios have went up that much more, or if it's just because it is a dual band radio. So I called Corey and asked him, cause he was the one that ordered all ours for the fire department.
Yeah.
And he said back then there were roughly $5,000, the dual band. They were approximately double of a regular one. So I don't know if we wanna go that route or not. I hate to buy a brand new radio, put in this rig, and it might be good for 6 months, and then we have to buy another new radio for it. So I don't exactly know where to go.
I went onto that Siren 2020's website, state website for that system, and they had the list of all the compatible, because Motorola won the state bid
Yeah.
for the radios. And they had a cost breakdown for all the radios available for that. That's consistent.
Is it
I gave that print off to Tony, I don't know if Tony ever dropped it off at the office or not, but yeah, I was right around that price range. I don't know if that's installed or whatever, but
It doesn't break it down, I would imagine it's
yeah, it was
installed.
like high 6, low 7, and plus there's add-ons and stuff that you need with like certain antenna
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and that would be consistent right around that price point from what I was seeing.
Yeah, so I did ask Corey too if we had any used radios laying around at the fire department, and we do not. We're actually currently borrowing a radio from Dakota Communications, cause we were short and didn't wanna purchase one. And that was right at the time that we bought all those radios, so Corey had some leverage, spending that kind of money. So I don't know where we wanna go with that.
Well, with this program too, the last update, just the end of this last year, I was reading up their report, and by the sounds of it, they're just waiting for this next construction season to finish up a few things, and then the system will start rolling out.
That's-
So this year.
That's what I've heard too.
Yeah.
They secured that last tower site up on the reservation that they have been in a legal battle with. And they finally got the easement, so it sounds like once that's built, they should be ready to rock and roll. So, I don't know if we spend another $2,000 on a radio that might only last us 6 months, or to a year, or do we pull the one out of the night shift vehicle now and stick it in the new one and send the night shift down the road? I don't know where to go from there.
Yeah, $7,700 is a lot.
It's a lot considering, granted, I'm guessing the ones from Dakota Communication have went up in the last 3 years also.
I'm thinking you're gonna find the same price, cause Dakota Communication was in the list of one of the, sellers or suppliers of the radios, so. Yeah, I don't know, I think it's just expensive regardless, this whole system is expensive, but I think a lot of the equipment's future proof, by the sounds of it. Could be wrong though.
Cause you have a new radio for a vehicle when the system is up and running, so why?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's if we go down to the 2 vehicle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you always have portables as well, so I mean, if you're using the other vehicle just to do transfers or whatever, do you need that radio in there or use a portable?
No,
yeah, cause it's all standalone, that's right, yeah,
we're,
cause you don't need a repeater in your vehicle anymore,
not supposed to anyways.
yeah,
We'll see how that works.
yeah.
So yeah, I honestly don't know where to go. You got any input, Jim?
Just gonna have to wait and see until that tower gets up and if that ever gets up.
Once that rolls out, are they given the communities of the state 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, to say, okay, then you gotta change over within a certain amount of time, or once they start this new system, the old stuff won't work at all? It's hard for me to believe that that's the
If I
case.
understand correctly, the legacy channels, like the legacy, channels that we use now and the frequencies that we operate on, I think with the dual band, like the whole idea behind the dual band radios and stuff like that was so local agencies can still use that, even though you could technically use the 800 megahertz system for that type of stuff too. If I understand correctly, so I don't think it'll be completely phased out, besides I think it's per PSAP or per dispatch center essentially.
Correct, that would be broke down from my understanding more to the dispatch center.
Yeah.
So
We got
Stanton will quit using legacy at some point.
So
They
once
might
they-
use both for a given time period. I know I talked to Corey about it a while ago, he got it. So Dakota Communications was gonna come up to the fire hall and try to do them there and communicate with Beulah. You know, since there's so many in the area, instead of trying to get all those trucks down to Bismarck for them to install, they were gonna start sending reps up here. So I would imagine Stanton would give us at least a month or two that they would use the dual system. Cause we can't put the new radios in, they won't work with the old system, the old radios won't work with the new system. You know, it's gonna be a nightmare. It's- No matter how you look at it, it's gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about state, because we don't use state.
Well, when it comes to pursuits and stuff, that's the whole interoperability of it and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
So we technically wouldn't even have had to switch over to the system because we don't use a whole lot of state radio. But if we wouldn't have, then 100% we would have no communication with state radio. Cause they're switching over.
Well, and you probably would lose communication with Mercer,
Well,
with the county once they flip it over.
well, that's what I'm talking about. Mercer County didn't technically have to.
Oh,
But it was in the best interest of doing it.
Cause mass events, mass disaster scenarios, stuff like
Oh,
that,
yeah,
where you have many
absolutely.
agencies all at once, where I can just, on my radio, without flipping a switch or channel, I can talk to Dustin.
Yeah.
On the fire department, as I'm trying to coordinate something as a deputy, like, I can see
Communicating with the,
huge benefits from that, but to get to that point,
communicating with the medical helicopter.
well, I can relate back when I was growing up on the farm, our old UHF band radios went kaput. They quit, you either had to upgrade or you didn't have a two-way radios, period. And that was years ago.
How long is this quote good for? You know,
30 days, I think.
30? And that's through this data safety supply?
Quote good for
Yeah.
30 days, there in the middle.
Oh, I see,
Right on 123.
So we're
So
we're
it's
almost
6
on that
minutes
30
and
days.
okay.
I don't know that I wanna spend $7,200 on it.
I don't know if we have a choice.
We do have a
We have
choice.
No, we don't need
it
another
anyway,
radio.
Yeah.
What's that, Jim?
We have new radios sitting waiting.
Yeah, in the last 3 years, we've got new radios to put
The
in.
portables, right?
No,
No,
we
we
got,
got,
we got 2 vehicles and 1 base station, so.
Okay. Alright.
Well, and that's the other thing is we could always stick the base station in this vehicle too and just use the portable inside the building.
Okay.
Cause you guys never did get one for up here, did you?
we don't need one.
Yeah, so there is 3 mobile radios, they're waiting to go in vehicles.
Okay.
The biggest problem would be, like, right now, if we got that new vehicle in the next month or two.
That'd be a good problem.
Yes, it would be a very good
Mhm.
problem, we would make something work.
Okay.
And in that case, I would 100% say take the base station out of the PD and stick into the vehicle, and then they could just use the mobiles and when they're inside the building, instead of having a base station in there for now.
Okay.
That's what I would recommend.
Alright, then we'll be in a holding pattern then. Anything else, Mr. Weidrich?
All I got was,
Okay.
Tim has anything?
Let's,
They, got radars in. I sent Tony down last Monday. He was in Bismarck and the place was closed. So he went today and he got us 2
okay,
of the new radars. Well,
okay,
XPDs,
Okay.
HPs, so we got 2, 3 radars.
oh, good,
Got them from the state, or state surplus?
Yep.
good. Let's back up to, streets. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, on streets, the loader
Yeah,
specs.
that's what I
whatever,
wanted to
yeah.
mention, it, yeah, so go ahead, just talk
I
about
wrote up
that.
a spec sheet for you guys to go through or whatever, if there's anything you wanna add, we got questions about or subtract off of there. That's kind of the stuff you can kinda change or alter, a lot of the other stuff, you know, comes in packages or whatever, just like on a vehicle, you get the Silverado or the whatever, certain things come, but that's kinda my highlighted stuff or whatever. Next.
So then we send this out to different companies and say,
I think
send us,
Monty publishes or whatever that we're accepting bids or something, isn't it? And
Yeah, we'll have to publish a notice for bids, but we will send it out then to different distributors
Okay.
and vendors too.
okay, good.
The only thing I don't recall noticing the attachment we have, what is that attachment called again?
yeah, that's, I think
Is it
that's on there,
I left my sheet home.
it's JRB or whatever, but I think I put, something about specking that, so it would fit all of our attachments.
Yeah, GRB 14,
Okay.
Yeah, that's
416
what we
couplers.
use. And I did reach out to a couple different, equipment dealers to try to get some brochures, you know, we all know what cat looks like and a John
Right.
Deere and a case or whatever, but some of the other ones, I've reached out to a couple salesmen saying we're looking,
Okay.
I'd like to get some of the brochures to look at to see
Right.
what their cab configurations are or whatever, I haven't received anything yet, but
Okay.
Do we need to have a spec on tires? Like tire size?
gosh, I thought I had them on there, but
It
maybe.
is on
It
there.
is on there, but I'm just wondering if we need that on there. You know, if a certain loader comes with a different size
Usually about that series
tire.
loader pretty much comes with that size.
I'm just wondering if it's gonna eliminate some of the loader options that are in that size just due to that spec.
Well, once I get some of these brochures or pamphlets or whatever, you know, then I can see what their loaders are equipped with and if that needs to come out.
Okay.
Can't hurt.
Well, that's, no, both loaders have the same size
Yes,
tires.
yep, and the loader, the old case when we got rid of it that time had this size
Yeah.
too. So for that size machine, that is pretty much a common tire size.
Cause I know back, how many years ago, we got all the trucks that were the same tires now, if I remember right.
Guess that does make sense, if you
Yeah.
got a spare
Mhm.
for both loaders,
Right.
that does make sense.
Dave, is the tier 4 requirement, is that the DEF?
That's the DEF system or emissions or whatever, a few years back it was tier 3, now
Okay.
everything now is pretty much tier 4 or whatever, but
Yeah,
I think there's certain applications where a machine would be used, you could probably get by with the cheaper tier, or a 3, but being we're on the streets
Right.
and whatever, we're probably would be obligated to the 4.
Right.
okay. Alright, thank you for putting that together. And Myra's not here for HCD, and I don't have any extra. Monty, you have anything for the reports? You down to new business, 24 budget amendments. Monty's got them listed. Anything you wanna highlight, Monty, specifically?
No.
No, everything was in the notes. Basically, we have to do the budget amendments for revenue and expenditures that exceeded our estimates. Part of our process for the audit.
Okay, we need a motion then to approve the budget amendments as listed.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Weidrich,
Second.
second by Hack. Discussion. Monty, the prairie dog funds,
Yes.
we basically had all those, that 450,000 allocated, correct?
So this was a new,
Well, this is the
this was a
new,
new disbursement
okay,
from the state
good.
that we hadn't anticipated coming until this year, but it came last fall.
So we're not getting one this year now? Or we
There
don't
is
know?
still a possibility of additional funds this year.
Okay, any other discussion? Roll call.
Weidrich,
Aye.
Hack,
Aye.
Folkerts,
Aye.
Omenauer.
Aye. Motion carried. And that's, brings us to the bills. Excuse me?
Public comments.
Sorry, public comment. And that brings us to the bills.
Motion approved as presented.
Motion by Weidrich,
Second.
second by Folkerts. Discussion. Roll call.
Weidrich,
Aye.
Folkerts,
Aye.
Hack,
Aye.
Omenauer.
Aye. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned. We could have done that by